This video is going to be about basically what questions are generally asked during Band 7 interviews nowadays. So we get the standard questions as what your experience is so far, and you get, especially when you're working in nursing healthcare, you get another standard question which is always about safeguarding, which is common across all of all questions during interviews if you're ever working with vulnerable adults or children. And the questions that stood out to me was, I was asked the difference between the deputy ward manager role and a ward manager role, and the banding is basically what is the difference between a band 6 role and a band 7 role. I found this question difficult to answer actually, because there's a lot of overlap and there's a lot of similarities between the roles. So I'll visit that question again at the end. So the next question I was asked is, what is the difference between a ward manager role and a modern matron role? So the banding is a band 7 and a band 8, and what the difference between those two roles are. And another question I was asked was a lot about what would you do if there were individuals on your ward and they weren't really motivated to provide supervision. How would you motivate them as a ward manager? And I found this question actually quite challenging but also quite interesting as well. It's a question where you can come up with creative ideas of solutions, so I thought that was quite a good question to ask, because it is a common situation within the ward environment. The next question I was asked is, what service improvement projects have you done within the workplace, and what impact did they have? I thought this is a great question again, because this is something quite common within the NHS. There's always service improvements happening, and you can give many different examples, small or big. And yes, there were many questions asked. The last few questions that were asked were, what help would I need if I was given the ward manager role? What is my 5-year future plan? And how would I manage conflict on the ward? And I think managing conflict is definitely something you'll have to do within a ward manager role. It's something that you have to do within a deputy ward manager role, and it can be quite challenging, so I thought this was a really suitable question. And yeah, so then on the next video I'll tell you the answers of what I gave for these questions. As I said, they were challenging. It was during an interview I felt like I was under a lot of pressure, and I knew the interviewers, so I felt like I was